nowadays being friends with their woman than being a provider to their woman. Hi people.
What's going on, peeps?
How y'all doing tonight?
Back at you again. It's time to talk about money.
Money in marriage.
Now, you know, some people know better than us what money can do to a marriage. That's because we just stick to the plan, not being selfish. I think that's the main thing of it. Going into a marriage, understanding that it's not about you no more. It's a tag team going on.
Men are more comfortable nowadays being friends with their woman than being a provider to their woman. And that's strange, because men are naturally supposed to want to provide. But you have Neo, which I always go back to the Neo song because it's the craziest song of our generation. I love her because she got her own.
Right.
And it's like, that's not what should draw you to a woman, because your job is to provide for her. Like, if we're trying to build communities and we're trying to build families and you're not being a provider, then, you know, what is your role in the family? If she's out getting her own, and at the end of the day, a woman should be able to take care of herself in case anything happens to you. But while I'm with you, what am I taking care of me for? And I'm reproducing you. And, you know, who taking care of the kids? Who taking care of the house?
Right.
Those things are going undone. So.
Well, yeah, because see, and just like I said, remember when I was telling you that I didn't want to be with a chick if she had a car.
Oh my goodness.
I wanted to be the one to come.
Right, you were saying that.
I wanted to pick you up. I wanted you to need me, like, you know, and you know, without even realizing that I was trying to be that responsible man or that provider. It's just, it was something, like, it was just how it was.
Right, and nowadays women don't see that as a man wanting to be responsible. They see it as his ego or something like that. And men don't even appreciate that about themselves anymore, wanting to be responsible.
Because
for a woman, they feel, I don't want to be. We both grown. Yes, we're both grown, but we're trying to build something here, and I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. I appreciate the fact that you take full responsibility for us and our kids, and you know, if you know worst comes to worst, and I have to work, I probably ain't gonna work, because worse ain't gonna come to worse, and we building something now to safeguard against that. But
for example,
you know, for example, you know, I'm gonna make something happen.
You have to make sacrifices when it comes to that point, or you have to not be selfish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because no longer is it about you. It's not even about us. We have a job to do, because I am you and you are me. And then when kids come along, it's not even about you. It's just about the heads and the little rascals. You know what I'm saying? And then, with that being said, the topic of this video is money. You know, just
handling money in a marriage.
Right. And you know, the way we do it is joint. You know what I'm saying? Everything come from her to me, from me to her. You know what I'm saying? Because having a family and a marriage is dependent you know, for us to be on one accord, to make everything bounce. You know what I'm saying? Make everything flow. You know, if you not whatever. You know, if you have this over here and this over there, and it's clutter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's too much.
Yeah, all over the place.
You know what I'm saying? And to each his own. People do that, and if that's working for you, you know what I'm saying? I don't see how, but if it's working for, you know,
well, because some men don't want the woman spending money on this, that, and the third, shoes and bags and this, all this other stuff. Men tend to be more frugal. Well, were at one time, and women were not. But nowadays, you have a lot of men who are spending money on ridiculousness, and women are like, you know, you are not about to go buy a video game.
Full of J's,
a closet full of J's.
Video game.
All my money that I worked for all week.
Video game. Well, whatever. Go ahead.
And that's understandable in some ways. However, those are the kind of traits to me that you know before you get married.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if you were spending money on video games and shoes, I wouldn't have married you.
Shit, when I was playing video games, I was frugal with that.
Right.
I play a game,
GameStop,
and then trade that motherfucker in for a new game because I'm finished with that game.
Right.
I'm not collecting games.
But I wouldn't have married you because that's not a responsible habit. I wouldn't look at that and say, well, you know what? He can take care of a family. I would say, you know what? We might be hungry one day and he gonna be addicted to a video game and he gonna go get the video game instead of getting some groceries. No. Because
man, look, that's a thing, you know. People, if you when you're in a situation where like, all right, shit going crazy, your family hungry or whatever, and then now you gotta get off into your zone. You go get on the game or something like that because that's your comfort zone. Oh yeah, like drinking or drugs or whatever. That's what you do to get your mind off. And your family, and then you're dealing with the right wife.
See, me, I would break a video game to me. And that's why the Most High put us together, because I had a habit of messing stuff up. No, sir. So, thankfully, you don't have any crazy addictions.
If I can't make money off the game, what the hell I'm playing
for real? Especially and not gambling either, because that's a hit or miss.
I'm talking about if I win a board, I need a game. I need some money.
Right.
If I win a level, I need a check or something.
Right.
Put the direct deposit. I beat level 6. I need direct deposit.
Right. But we opened that discussion up on Instagram one time, a couple of times actually. And that was the response. Men seem to be more open to sharing their money in a marriage and having a joint account and being the sole breadwinner and being the provider. And women are like, no, I'm not sharing my money. Which I get, because women are not meant to be providers. But that's why I don't work outside of the home, because I wouldn't want to be selfish like that, first of all. And the money that I do make via my Etsy shop and things like that, if I need it, I don't have to give it to him. If I need it for purchasing more wire to make jewelry or something like that, he gives me that freedom to use my money however I feel I need to use it. Most of it is reinvested into the business. But if we need it for the household, then I'm transferring it to the account. It's like,
it's not being selfish.
Right. And I'm not using it to go shopping with or whatever. You know, he gives me money for that. That's his job as my provider, to make sure that I'm clothed, I have shoes, I have food, I have a house, you know. And when you live how we live, we follow the scriptures. That's what the scripture says, that a man is supposed to provide for his wife. So I'm well provided for. And it also says that the woman is supposed to be a good steward of the household's finances. So he's okay with going to work and bringing home his check because he knows that I'm going to make it grow in one way or another. I'm going to pay the bills with it. And other than that, we building some businesses around here. We putting it into the garden. We putting it, if it's going, either it's going to grow up out of the ground or it's going to grow in the account. But in one way or another, you know, the money is not being used wastefully.
That's another thing too. People don't like to live, like they don't like to seem like they don't have, like, you know what I'm saying, instead of, you know, building, you know what I'm saying. Just like she said, if the money she make is needed to go on something that you know that I can't afford, or however you want to put it, to contribute, then that's not a problem. But people don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to. Like, people want to. How can I put it? They want to spend the money right quick that they make.
Living above their means.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just building with it. And when you got time to play, then you can play. When you build it up enough to where you could just go with, oh, all right, we're going to handle this. Then we have this money to play with. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, however big that pile is,
or
the way
small.
you can pay, or small, whatever the measure is of this pile over here, that's how you got to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it's small, you can't play big with the small. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, it's a whole bunch of stuff.
And that's an issue with our people. We're not focused on building.
We want it now.
We want it now, right? And not only that, we want to look like we have it now, but we don't. And truly rich people don't care about looking like they have it because they too busy getting it.
Yeah, and they focusing on continuing to get it, and you know, but that like in all our videos, that's another story. That's another one. But
bad money habits of black folks.
Yeah, and we got them. That's what we don't have nothing else. That's what we got is bad habits. Period.
Money habits, but yeah, bad habits. Period. And a lot of people, women especially nowadays, they don't understand the not working thing and all that. Because it's like, oh, if he leaves or if something happens to him, first of all, don't go into marriage with the mindset of if he leaves. Because what? You already dooming it from the beginning. Yes, you want to be prepared for the worst, but let the worst be if anything happens to my husband. Don't let it be if he leaves, because you already gone into it expecting for him to be irresponsible. If that's the kind of man you marry, don't even get married. Save yourself the disappointment. But you want to go into a marriage with a responsible attitude of, if anything happens to my husband, these are the things that we have in place. So I don't have to work, nor do I have to worry about if something happens to him, because as the man, he's responsible for making sure if anything happens to me, this is what I have in place for my family to continue on after I'm gone. Fellas, get your life insurance together. Don't be, the money that you spend on a pair of Jordans, you could be paying your life insurance every month. It actually costs half the price of a pair of Jordans. But you have to be responsible. You have to think about things like that. If anything happens to me, my family is prepared for that.
You got to think about that.
Right, and you have to prepare for those kind of things. Don't worry about if he gonna leave, because if he leave and he working, he gotta pay you alimony. So that's that. But at the end of the day, if anything happens, you have to understand, and that's why we were speaking so strongly against things like spiritual marriages, because in a spiritual marriage, you're not protected. When you have paperwork, you are protected. So, for one, make sure you got your paperwork together. That's marriage certificate, marriage license, all that good stuff. For two, make sure that you are in order. Now, fellas, if you have to worry about her putting Windex in your food because you have a great life insurance policy, you shouldn't be marrying her. So.
And how do we know that? What I'm about to say?
Prove your partner.
And if you going through some stuff when y'all meet, and she don't stick around, or she got all kind of stipulations as to why she's sticking around, or reminding you why she's sticking around, you stick and move.
I'm only with you cuz. Oh God.
I mean, straight up. And people, man, you have to know, man. If you're doing all this, you don't do all this in vain. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing all this, you have to do this for somebody who cares about you more than you care about them. Because people who capable of doing that don't deserve it. And truth be told, that's who getting it the most these days. The people that don't deserve it, you know. And I'm not who's to say who deserve it or not, but you know, you know who deserve it. Like if you got common sense, you know who deserve it. If you know how to use your common sense and use it to pick the right people. Use your gut, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
And not them butterflies in your gut either.
No, not yeah.
Not the lust in your gut.
No.
When them red flags go to popping
That's
up.
not the gut, yeah. That's the head. That's the head. That's the head, not the head. Not the head, not your correct
that's
head.
The other head.
The other head. And that's not. That ain't even nothing to follow. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a ride, man. It's a lot of stuff you gotta know. You know, it's a lot of signs and things you have to know how to follow along with all that. You know, money, cause money ain't nothing but paper. Nowadays, it ain't nothing but digital numbers and all that. It's that you use that as a tool to strengthen your marriage. You know what I'm saying? You don't. It's two sides of everything. It can tear you apart or it can strengthen you. You know what I'm saying? Just use everything to strengthen what you have. Strengthen yourself, your wife, your husband. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Because we need each other. You know what I'm saying? To hell with it. Just get together. You know what I'm saying?
We gotta take care of each other.
We gotta take care of each other.
And that's something. The first time I saw this question approached on Instagram, the lady was asking about the joint accounts. Should you have a joint account or a separate account in a marriage? And I of course said, well, we have joint accounts, so that's how we feel about it. And a lot of women, of course, were saying separate accounts for various reasons. And she said, what if one of the partners is financially irresponsible? But you can use that as a way to strengthen that person, because as married people, we're supposed to work on strengthening each other.
Right.
We're supposed to, you know, it's not supposed to be you get you and I get me. Because you won now. Like he was saying, you're one now. You have to operate as one. If I was financially irresponsible or he was financially irresponsible, either way, then we would use that as a tool to strengthen our marriage. And I suggested that in that instance, have one debit card, and the more responsible party takes the debit card, so that the other one is not just spending rampantly all the time. Give the other partner something like an allowance. Give them the money that they need to get through the day. If they need to get lunch, if they need to buy gas, give them such and such amount to get that done. And once they spend that, they done. I mean, and as long as they have that money for their necessities, they'll be fine. Now, if you have a childish partner, of course, they're going to fuss and cry like a baby. But are you going to let money ruin you, or are you going to let it strengthen you? And over time, that person will become more responsible and know how to manage money. Because if I only have $20 a day to work with, I'm going to figure out how to make this $20 work.
Right, because that's all you get.
Right. So use what you have, whatever your issues are, as building blocks. Instead of saying, oh, this is a problem and I don't know how we're going to deal with it, so we just not going to deal with each other. We're just going to divorce now because you don't know how to manage money. Let's teach you how to manage money. And just like when you was learning your multiplication tables, just like you was learning addition and ABCs and geometry and algebra and all that, it's not fun learning it at first. But eventually it becomes second nature. So we have to elevate past being kids about it and fussing and bitching about it, and actually help each other through those issues. Communication issues. There's all kind of issues you run into in a marriage. If you let something as simple and insignificant, and money is significant, but it's really not, because like he said, it's nothing but numbers on the screen. If you let something as insignificant as money ruin you, then what happens when communication becomes an issue? Something that is a real thing. You know, so you got to really consider those kind of things.
And then see that what she just said, that's how you can gauge who got your back. Like, instead of, man, we see divorce like at a higher level now, and people just quit on you. But if you got somebody that, well, look, we're going to get through that. Look, I'm helping you, I'm trying to help you to understand that, you know, everybody laying in a balance here, you know. And a person that's willing to help you get through your finances stumbling block or whatever you want to call it, then that's somebody you might want to consider like listening to and trying to, you know what I'm saying, help them help you, you know. So that's a gauge, right? That's one of the gauges right there. If you don't necessarily understand the prove your partner in this point we make, and that was it, what she just said. You know what I'm saying? When somebody actually willing to help you, you know, in that area, and adamant about it, and own you. You know what I'm saying? Don't get frustrated, bitch about it. You know.
And ladies and gentlemen, don't be an asshole about the situation. Excuse my language, but don't be like that. Don't, oh, you only getting $20. Here, take this. You know, be loving in your correction. Be loving when you're correcting each other. Because men need to be corrected at times, but women, we have to be loving about it.
Yeah, you can't just
women need to be corrected at times, but fellas, y'all have to be loving about it.
Right. So
consider that.
Because, you know, we not kids.
Right, right.
So if you handling them all like you handling your kids, that grown person just hold on, them kids in the room. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your child. You know what I'm saying? And then that escalates. So
right, ladies, it's not difficult. Just make it a point to not raise your voice. Make it a point to not have an attitude in your tone. Because sometimes we can speak, we can whisper and kill some people. I already know. I do it all the time. But, you know, sit down together, babe, let's try this. How about we try it this way and see how this works. Let's try doing this, blah, 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 blah. And you know, that in itself strengthens your relationship. Your man seeing that, yes, she's willing to correct me, but she also respects me. That strengthens your relationship. So let money be a strengthener. Don't let it break you down, cause it's easy. We told y'all, we done been there. We done had zero in the account, so we know. You know, if people look at us and, oh, they must have it good because they're always happy, or they must have it good because they this and that. We have it good because we choose to have it good. We choose not to let money make us have it bad.
You have to be happy before you good. Whatever they good meaning, I guess meaning a lot of money. But you have to be happy first, because if you're not happy and you wind up being good, you still ain't gonna be happy.
Right.
So, but as a point I was about to make, oh, and men, when that woman sit down and say, babe, let's try it, that's not, it don't mean that she trying to overrule you or none of that. It's a suggestion being made, you know what I'm saying? And she coming, if she coming humble like that, then by all means listen. At least listen, you know what I'm saying? I guarantee you 98% of the time it's gonna be something that you agree with. Especially if y'all on the same page, because it's probably something that you thinking, and she, you know, introduced. And when a lot of times when your woman come to you and ask you a certain thing that you've been thinking, and it's confirmation, it's a relief, because we try to balance off all that too. It's like, well, I'm gonna present this to her. I hope she understand, because we, you know, if she don't understand, then we gotta explain, and then we gotta convince. But if she already understand, then that's like, all right, good, bam, bingo. So, you know what I'm saying? Just roll with that, and yeah, man, it's beautiful when you're on the same page, man. It's easier. Take a lot of the pressure off, everything.
I think, though, when a woman approaches a situation softly, it makes y'all more open immediately.
Oh yeah, yes,
they like make your guards go down. Because y'all guards go up and y'all don't want to deal with the situation, or y'all get like rah about it when we approach it like, well, this is how it's going, because you've been doing this, and that automatically puts a person like,
see that, man, it's either this, man, with money, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're dealing with that crazy nigga, just don't say nothing.
If you're dealing with a crazy woman, just
It's ugly, man. It's ugly.
As a formerly crazy woman.
Emphasis on formerly.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what would have made me less crazy in those situations. I don't know, because I think it was my attitude first. Thinking back on what I just said, I think me approaching the situation from the beginning with the, oh, he ain't gonna mess over me kind of attitude, like, it automatically puts somebody on guard. And on guard for one person is not the same as being on guard for another person. You on guard is like a calm, no, that's not how it's gonna happen, period, whatever. But you don't get all rah-rah. The next person gets on guard and is waiting for a fight. Like, so you have to first know who you're dealing with and approach the situation accordingly. But also know that if you go into a situation with your guards up, with your I got a bone to pick attitude,
that's what's gonna come right back.
It's going to come back. So yeah, as a formerly crazy woman, I can only give advice to crazy women and say, look, sis, just understand that your softness is what gets you what you want from men.
Women already know what bones to pick anyway. Y'all know what buttons to press anyway.
And pressing his buttons does you no good. It really doesn't. In the end, you may get what you want out of that conversation or out of that specific situation, but you're pushing him further and further away from you. And it's a woman out there that ain't pressing his buttons. That's getting what she wants. So be soft about it, especially when it comes to money. Because men are naturally providers, money is a sensitive topic for them. So just like his manhood is a sensitive topic for him, those are their natural states. So be mindful of how you approach those kind of situations.
Yeah, you need money. I mean, regardless of, I mean, we know that it's just paper, we know that it's numbers, but where we at, we need them swipe that card to get that loaf of bread.
Right, and even if
whatever.
If it wasn't money, if we lived in an agricultural society and you was telling a man he sucked at growing things, like that would be his soft spot. Don't tell me Lamar grows better wheat than you. Like what? No.
I see.
Look at his field and look at your field.
Well, we ain't even this one. Man, Kevin, nope. Too late.
Right. It's gonna be a dark Christmas.
Put the steak in my hand.
We'll see who eating bread tonight.
Man, you know.
Go over there to Lamar field and get your wheat there.
Right. Act upon them.
Right.
And then just women gotta realize too. Y'all just don't understand. For those that don't understand. And this is not a knock. This is for your understanding. You know what I'm saying? Y'all build men up. You know what I'm saying? Working on a man's confidence is the best thing you can do. For real. Like, you know, aside helping him out, working on his confidence, man. You know what I'm saying? If he cooks something and it ain't 100%, don't. Babe, that was the best rice you cooked.
Let me tell you.
That was the best pack of noodles you ever cooked. You know what I'm saying?
One time, I left him home and he burnt the rice. And it was like, I said I ain't never telling him nothing else about nothing else that gets cooked. But I was already in a somber mood and I was feeling upset. I was feeling like a failure that day. And I was like, and
that's
the
why
rice is burnt too.
That's why I burnt the noodles, because you was feeling like that.
Right.
You gotta think about shit like that
right,
too.
Exactly. And definitely he was very broken about that rice for a while. He was like, I'm not cooking anything ever.
I already burnt rice. You know what I'm saying? And then, Lord, I don't even remember what something distracted. You know, we easily to get distracted. I burnt
probably
this rice.
Kids.
I said, yeah, probably. You just reminded me what the hell distracted.
Oh goodness.
Crazy. Now I remember exactly what they was doing, but we ain't about them. It's about this.
So it would have either been burnt rice or something would have been broken in the house. Something would have been messed up when I got back home.
Man, but yeah. And then I was like, I ain't doing nothing in the kitchen no more.
Yeah. He got over that, but it took a while. See, and I felt so bad.
I'm the grill man.
Yes, he is the grill
I ain't dealing with no rice no more. I ain't dealing with none of that no more.
You did do the rice since then.
Yeah, I know, but I was sure.
Right.
We was gonna be 65 if it was
right.
Depending on that kitchen and me, 5 guys or something. But man, it's all good, you know.
Yeah, but as back to what he was saying, working on their confidence, you know, it does nothing to you. It takes nothing away from you to make your man feel good about himself. It's nothing but benefit to you, so do it. Especially when it comes to money. And that's why I did the video about being a good steward, because make him feel like what he does is enough. Period. And you don't have to sacrifice living well to do that. So you might have to sacrifice shoes and bags and things, but you have to also redefine your definition of living well. Is, you know, are the kids taken care of? Is the house taken care of? Are the bills paid? And do I have the necessities and things that I need? Because we can figure out how to entertain ourselves. We can figure out, you know, how to get the outings and things like that. We can figure that part out. A lot of times getting those shoes and getting those bags and stuff is just trying to fill a hole. If you focus on how can we build, you'll feel differently about shopping right now. So
because if you could just be patient, trust me, that's coming.
If you build him up,
if a man is that concerned about the funds and all this, you don't think for 1 second that he is not concerned about making his family as comfortable as possible.
Right.
That come along with that. But if he's not able to do all that just yet, oh, it's marinating in the back of his mind. So when he is,
you'll be worthy of your reward. So with that, we say peace. Be great.
Be inspired.
Good night, y'all.
Leave that rice in the I ain't never. Catch you.
The red light means record.
Shit,